very
So,
dark.
who's the person in the top right-hand corner for me wearing a cap?
I'm Raven Hades.
Who's the person wearing a cap?
Oh, that would be me.
What's your name, sorry?
Jonathan.
Jonathan. Brilliant. I can hear you perfectly fine now. And bottom left-hand corner for me, I'm guessing, is Annie.
Hello.
Hi, Annie. So,
Hi.
and Raven, this is your mum.
Yes. Hi, I'm Elisha.
Hi, Melisha.
Is that what I'm under?
So,
It's your name.
so who's played Weave before? Annie.
We haven't watched.
No, I haven't watched.
You've watched. Raven, have you played before?
No.
No. And Jonathan, have you played before? No. Oh, brilliant. So, so tonight this is a Weave Society game. I don't know if you've been keeping track of what's been going on with those. So, Tristan over on the Discord group releases 3 cards for me to scan in for the game, and we're using the Solar Age playset tonight, which is like a futuristic sci-fi adventure. Think Firefly, if you've seen that TV show, Serenity, bounty hunter type thing, traveling the universe or the solar system, gathering bounties and treasures. So those that have got dice in front of you, that's great, use them. Those that have managed to figure out the dice rolling in Roll20, use those. And if you need my help rolling dice, then I could do that for you, or maybe one of your colleagues can. So I'm going to flip over the theme card. If it'll let me. Why isn't it letting me do that? It's worked perfectly all day, and now it won't let me do that. Get rid of those. Well, why on earth that's not working now? I've been practicing all day, and they've been working. What's that? Sorry.
Murphy's Law.
Yeah. So when I right-clicked on them previously, it gave me the option to flip those cards, and now it's just coming up with edit. I don't know what I'm doing wrong there. Very strange. Well, I'm sure we can survive without those flipping over. You'll just have to trust me what those cards were. So let's get some so the game begins. You are in a bar off in a space station just off one of Neptune's moons, and the bar's called the Last Drop Inn. That's within this space station, and you are there. Well, there's only 2 reasons really people go to these to the Last Drop Inn on this space station, and the first one is to register on the market. There's an online market where people register for work, for bounties, for any news on wreckages to salvage, treasure to find, anyone looking for help, being a bodyguard, those kind of things. So we're going to begin the game with you registering yourself on the system. So you enter in the bar, and there's some hollow screens dotted around on various tables, and you can see other bounty hunters and treasure hunters and space captains doing the same thing, and plenty of other people at the bar, and people dancing, a few fights going on here and there. So you make your way to a log-on screen, and you're presented with the image of the host of the bar, whose name is Ion. He's the host AI, and he asks you to complete the following survey. He wants to know what your background is, what your talents are, and to confirm that you're actually a humanoid. He wants to know what your flaws are also. So perhaps decide amongst yourself who's going to go first.
Yeah, I can go first. That's
so
fine.
Annie.
Yes. Well, my name is Joe Field. I made it big by mining asteroids. So I managed to find a ton of platinum off of an asteroid and made a whole bunch of money off of it. I'm sure you guys actually know my entire past, but the truth behind it is entirely up to me to share. So you'll have to ask questions if you really want to know what it is. I own the fastest ship in the kingdom. So if you're trying to get someplace faster than light speed, that's probably going to be me.
Nice.
And I might have been a really big deal, like Archangel big deal. But that was, that's water under the bridge, and I don't really talk about that a lot either. I'm really good with talking people with deals and stuff. I've got a really good ability with trying to make a lot of money. And if someone decides to maybe walk away from a deal, I can probably nab it from their back pocket anyways. I can read people really well. I am afraid of anything. I can fly because I've got this awesome jetpack attached to my back. It's freaking sweet. And if we ever get lost, I can probably make a map for us. Probably. But I'm also kind of conceited and I'm really overconfident. So whether I think I can do it or not, I don't worry, guys. I got this. No matter what it is, I got it. And that retirement part of the whole angel thing might be because I got kicked out. We don't know. And they might be after me. I don't know. They're probably after me. They're definitely after me.
So, Ion, the AI thanks you for your honesty. You're clearly a humanoid and not some kind of replicant trying to fake their way into the space station and onto the marketplace. Who's up next to register with Ion's marketplace?
Okay, I'll go. So I'm genetically modified, or I guess I'm Ace. I'm genetically modified humanoid. And like a group of scientists sought to create a super soldier with me as the template. The program fell through, so they never finished me, and I have like wires and everything showing because I'm awesome that way. After that, I became a ferryman to Cryon, and because of that, I'm well traveled. And on my spare time, I read a lot. What else? I've also been touched by the interstellar medium. The energy in the blackness between the stars seeps in every now and then, and I feel it. It caresses me with fingers of darkness and left something inside of me. I feel it all the time. It's a deep awareness of everything around me and a sense of wholeness and power. Its hunger grows. My flaws are after everything, I was also a hired hitman, and I let some bigwig politician get away to make some big fancy speech. So that's a dark mark on my assassin career. I also have an aura of death around me.
And Ion thanks you for your registration again. Clearly, somewhat humanoid. He was a bit dubious with the wires sticking out, but I think the flaws convinced him that there's still some humanity in you, and you're eligible to register on on the space station's marketplace. Jonathan, I think you were wanting to go next.
Yeah, I can go next. I am a speaker for a local chapter. I'm not a monk, but I follow the teachings of the brother all the same. I live in a metropolitan city, preaching according way to any that will listen. I have a handful of attendees to my church, which apparently is the House of Cultivar. My character's name is Gabriel Cultivar. My true passion is making public appearances at markets and conventions. Apparently, I'm a sanctioned government agent, using my unique art casting abilities to make myself invaluable for particular operations. But of course, I'm dictated by my government. Apparently, I accept the teachings of SE1ep1, and I consider his book more of a philosophy than anything else. I preach this to others. Not much is known about my early life, so many I guess don't trust me. My talents include thermal resistance. So because I was born or lived close to the sun, I can withstand intense heat, altered physiology. I'm incredibly athletic, unaging, and can survive in the vacuum. I'm a navigator, so I can discern direction in any environment and navigate through the blackness of space. And I'm a people watcher, an observer, a keen observer that's always able to gain knowledge or know the right thing to say when they've heard a person talk long enough. Also, I'm able to grasp cultures quickly, notice customs, body languages, and communicate with normally difficult people. My flaws are, I guess I lose control occasionally. I awaken kind fretting about it. Luckily, I have a couple things in my inventory, like a dynamic dampening collar, which helps with those electrical discharges and stores the power in a cell in the collar. I also have a solar lamp. Lists most of the planets, planetoids, centaurs, and asteroids of the solar system, including many that aren't on public record. It's highly valuable. My flaws, I am also paranoid. I'm pretty sure someone is going to find out about that thing about me any moment now. And my signature move is I'm solar powered. When in direct sunlight, I can reroll any strike.
Nice. A couple of people saying they were struggling with the audio there. Was that just from Jonathan's, when Jonathan was talking? Because I can hear him loud and clear. So I'm not entirely sure. Raven, you were nodding then. Are you struggling to hear Jonathan?
Well, I heard some of it. It was like bits of working with the government, or government anyways, and then it kind of faded to basically mute, and then came back in every so often.
Right.
Kind of fading in.
I could.
The Discord audio was having problems. I think it looks like it now fixed itself, but I have a problem with something.
Okay. Well, I can hear you loud and clear. Hopefully, this won't cause too many problems. Hopefully, that'll sort itself out. So, Ion again, the host AI, welcomes you onto the marketplace. Is impressed with your skills. It's not very often he's seen your types around here, so he's sure some business will come your way shortly now that you're registered onto the marketplace. And then finally, we have PNL.
Yep,
Which
that's
is an
me.
interesting name. Welcome to the marketplace.
I don't think I qualify as human. I'm an AI.
Well, as Ion is always welcoming of fellow AIs. It's the and if he could spit, he would spit on the ground. It's the replicants and wannabe AIs that he takes a dislike for. And pardon?
What's a replicant?
So I'm thinking like Blade Runner type robots pretending to be humans that he's watching out for. But a fellow AI would be very welcoming of PNL.
Okay. Well, basically, I have many personalities. I can pick and choose. And for some reason or other, I'm an enthusiastic and anthropologist. Because I was very interested in Dead Earth, and I'm a rocket setter. And I like to go to I like to travel, basically.
All right, okay.
And I'm supported by a wealthy institution, but they don't know which one. So it could be anything. Or do I need to tell talents too?
Yeah, give us some of your talents.
Okay. Okay, so my consciousness is in the cloud, so I can basically live forever, just change casings. I can be anywhere because I'm very inconspicuous, because AIs can be, or they blend. I'm also very good at surviving, and I'm a really good pilot and an awesome mechanic. I can fix anything. Flaws. I was exiled to Dead Earth by Venus because I did something terrible. Really socially inept because I missed the cues for communicating with people. Being an AI, I kind of missed that part.
So Ion welcomes you, a fellow AI, and he's registered you on a special area of the marketplace where some high-end work occasionally comes in for AIs, and it says it's rare to see a fellow AI here in the last drop. So he says news will soon spread that there's an AI looking for work at the last drop in. And I'm interested in your character of PNL. What do you imagine PNL's casing looks like? So this is the kind of
I was sort of thinking you looked a bit like Bender.
Oh, brilliant! I love it. Yes. Yeah, very, very, very cool.
It actually sounds a little bit like Bender.
Well, that's how I'm going to picture and hear PNL for the rest of the game. Fantastic. So yeah, you're all registered. You're in the bar, and these fights are continuing to go on, and they kind of just seem to sort themselves out. Occasionally, a strong bouncer will appear almost out of nowhere and drag someone out occasionally. And then I said that was the first thing that everyone does when they get to the last drop in, and the second thing that everyone does at the last drop in is drink their sorrows away. There's not usually a happy face in the last drop in, and there is a reason that the four of you have gathered there, and it is actually to drink your sorrows away. You've got yourself into some terrible debt to a trade baron called Hagin Dane. Now he's loaned you a deep space going frigate. So your character, Annie, your spaceship is stored within that, so you haven't lost your fastest ship. That's stored within the larger ship that he's loaned you, which you require to go about your business and repay him. But I'd like to know how you've got into so much debt to the Baron, the four of you. So kind of using your role-playing skills and your backstory.
Yeah.
Or maybe individually you've all come together because you owe him something, and he's put you together as a crew. So how have you come together? What's put you into so much debt to the Baron?
Probably not debt so much as a favor, since probably helped me lose my tail, create a new cover for me.
Nice.
So I'm not nearly as pursued by the rest of the Archangels.
Nice. Yes.
Yeah.
So, and I guess let's say in this world, that a new identity is very hard to come by, with AIs so intelligent and being able to track people down, face recognition. The Baron's worked some miracles there for you, basically, and it hasn't come cheap.
Yeah, pretty much. I owe him my entire life, actually.
Awesome.
Great.
So you owe him big time.
Yeah.
How about you, Jonathan? What do you owe the Baron? Why has he got you under his control at the moment?
I probably assume that it's probably not me, but my government somehow owes him a favor, and so they've sent me to do work for him in the meantime. Yeah,
I picture the Baron as having some big political influence. I'm thinking blackmail, particularly. So yeah, maybe he's got something over your governing party. So you're the kind of emissary they've sent to try and appease him and pay him back or gain his favour.
Exactly.
I love it. Good stuff. Raven, what about your character?
He hired me to get rid of that political bigwig, and I owe him because I didn't do it.
Yes, I read that in your backstory. Yeah, you were supposed to assassinate someone and missed, didn't you? Yeah, so that fits perfectly. So, and fits with this picture of the Baron that we're getting now, that he's has some political motivations. Yeah, really interested. And PNL, how on earth does an AI get into debt with the Baron?
I have a penchant for high-end casings.
Nice.
And I also like really high-end lubricants.
So so I'm guessing it's taken the Baron a long time to track down a 21st century casing of the famous Bender from Futurama for you to, and this isn't the first time. Say that again.
Has to be titanium though, not just.
Right, so a titanium. So this, I can see this debt, and this isn't the first time he's satisfied your needs in this way. And
I have a tendency to go through casings very quickly.
Yeah, okay. So we're getting a picture of this ramshackle crew that's come together out of a common ground of owing the Hagen Dane, the trade baron, masses of money. So suddenly a cat, a man, half cat, comes strolling over and introduces himself as Ion, the AI, and he gives a little nod to PNL and like, nice casing. This is the fashion he announces at the moment on the space station. People are walking. Fellow AIs tend to put on animal casings, and he asks you if, what kind of drink would you like? What's your particular favorite drink at the moment? So high in lubricant, and again he gives a little wink to PNL. It's like, nice, good choice. What's your character going to go for, Jonathan?
I think my character probably wouldn't drink anything because he's paranoid.
Okay, so does he pull out his own flask or something like that?
Yeah, exactly.
I've got this covered. Thank you very much, Ion. And what about you, Annie? What would your character order?
Probably something super strong and leave the bottle.
Again. Nice choice. I've got something that I think will suit you fine. And finally, Raven, what would you order from Ion?
Coffee.
A coffee. Okay.
Coffee.
And okay. And how would you like that?
Cream and sugar.
Old school.
It's an Irish coffee.
And yeah, Ion's. I think Ion's taking a like to you guys. He's not seen characters like you before. He's taking a shine to you. So he goes away to prepare your drinks. And let's start with a roll. I would like a perception check from you guys. So to do that, we're going to do a Gales challenge. So and I want you to see what you can spot around the room. So maybe who has got Gales as their actual challenge card that you first scanned in? Can you remember?
Gail's the purple one, right?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
So you have a natural talent for perceiving what's going on around you. So that would bump you up to 4 dice already.
Yeah.
And so have you got any talents, any backstory that can convince me to let you have another dice?
I have a talent called Keen-Eyed. Rumors of Ortians in your neck of the woods keep you alert at all times, and you notice small details that others do not.
Okay, I am convinced. And anything else? So you're on 5 dice.
Let's see. The weird energies of the interstellar beyond the Oort cloud have transformed you. You feel the flow and void around you, and you occasionally, or on occasion, even detect it to manifest in mystical ways.
Okay. So perhaps that ability, just again combined with your perception, makes you highly aware of what's going on around you. And hopefully this will make sense when we discover what it is you might have seen. So I'm convinced. 6 dice. I'm not going to use any of my challenge cards. So all you need is just 1 Gale to succeed on this. And you're going to roll your own dice, aren't you? So
yeah,
I will trust you.
And then I'll move the webcam to show.
I will trust you. Don't worry.
Okay. Oh, my mom will rat me out if I'm lying anyhow. I got 1. 3 fires. 1. What's the purple? That's the Gale. I forget what the blue one is. And a weave.
So so you've got 1 Gale. So re-roll the weaves. Let's see what else you get.
Stones.
So you got 1. You've passed. That's all I was after. So your eye is immediately drawn to a drunk. He's quite. He's in scruffy clothes. It's like a boiler suit that you would find on an engineer. There's quite a few tears in it, covered in oil. And he's absolutely drunk off his face. He's stumbling around. People are pushing him. He seems to be trying to jump into people's conversations, and they're pushing him away. Some are shaking their heads like they've seen him before. And before you know it, he's seen you noticing him, or maybe he's picked up on one of these abilities of yours, and his head just snaps around, and he stares right at your character and starts stumbling over to you, and he introduces himself. He's Rissi. Let's choose a surname. Rissi Limbo is his name. Rissi Limbo. Hello, my name's Rissi Limbo. Nice to meet you. Who are you? Why are you here?
Am I supposed to understand a drunk, or can you talk properly, please?
Rissi, I'm afraid this is the way I talk. What are you doing here?
Looking for work. Do you have anything to offer?
Well, nobody in this bar seems to believe me, but I know where Xavier's treasure stash is. I do, I really do. No one believes me. Do you believe me?
Maybe. Where is it?
Well, if you buy me a drink, I'll tell you.
Fine. But talk fast.
So you call over Ion to order this man a drink. And before you can do that, a fight breaks out right next to you, and Rissi Limbo gets pushed out of the way. Nobody likes him anyway, and someone gives him a real shoulder barge, and he stumbles over, hits a table which completely smashes, and the glass shatters everywhere, and every eye in the room turns around at this. It was such a large noise and smash. But that's not the only thing that comes flying out. Glass everywhere. There's his boiler suit rips, and silver coins out of a backpack that was on his back just spill everywhere. And the music stops. Everyone stares, and then all hell breaks loose. People are diving over tables, grabbing the coins. Someone's shouting, oh, "Holy shit! He was telling the truth! It's Xavier's treasure!" There's fights. Guns that aren't even supposed to be there are pulled out. Ion freaks out. Guns come down from the ceilings as he detects. Yeah, look at guns come down from the ceilings as he detects a breach of his own security. He's mortified. One of his arms converts into a gun. The bodyguards rush in. People are throwing punches. They're heading for you. You're surrounded by these coins. You're right in the center of this maelstrom.
Yeah.
What?
I'm going to stand up.
What are you going to do?
And I'm going to draw my energy sword to protect the poor old drunk guy. And basically tell everyone to get the heck off of him.
So let's see what we need here. What kind of roll do I want from you for this? So I'm thinking this is going to be some kind of intimidation. So I'm looking for a Brooks challenge. So that's the blue dice. So I will give you a dice already because you've got the equipment. You've pulled out your sword to intimidate everyone. Let me see. And it's your lucky day. I really want to make this difficult for you, but I don't have a Brooks card to make this more difficult for you. So it is just you've got 4 dice, unless you can convince me of anything else that makes you more intimidating.
Okay. Well, I'm naturally inclined to Brooks. That's my specialty suit.
Yep.
So
puts you on 5.
And then I will put down Fearless as a talent, since nothing frightens me and I'm unshakable in the face of danger.
Okay. You have fully convinced me. 6 dice to get 1 Brooks. Surely nothing can go wrong.
I get 1 W.
Okay, so that's 1 success. You can roll that again.
Yep. Talked. And no good. That would be an X on that one. So at least
You still succeeded just. So yeah, maybe for a moment the crowd takes no notice, but then what did you say it was an energy sword?
Yeah.
Yeah. So so you pull out the energy sword, go, get away! He's under my protection, and then they take no notice, but then the energy sword lights up, zoom, and whoa! Everyone stops. And starts to back off, so what are you going to do now? You've the backing off. What are you going to do?
Offer a hand to help him off the table.
Yep.
Kind of push him off a little bit, and or ask if he would be inclined to strike a business deal. Perhaps we can work something out.
And the entire room goes, over our dead body! He's ours, he knows where that treasure is. There's no way he's striking a deal with you. We'd rather see him dead, and every gun in the room points at his head.
So is this where I can step in?
Yeah.
Okay, so my talents include being an observer. This entire time I've been watching instead of talking, and I'm able to gain knowledge and know the right thing to say when I've heard people talk enough. I'm also a physiologist, so my experience with the journal has left me eager to learn what the solar system has to offer. I have a talent of learning the ways of new cultures quickly. I can grasp customs, body languages, and communicate with normally difficult people.
Nice. So I've lost count of how many dice I want to give you there. I'm presuming you're gonna. So again,
it's etiologist and observer.
Yeah. So this is going to be a Brooks challenge rather than intimidation. More of a charisma. You've instantly, you look like you belong in that bar. It's like you've been a regular all this time. You've just adapted so well to your surroundings, picked up the culture, the way people are talking, even the body language. And when people and your friends who know you quite well now look at you and like, actually, your kind of facial figures have almost changed as well. You look almost a completely different person. You've adapted that well to fit in, and you can see the crowd's face is become a little. It's like, how long? Yeah. I think he's kind of he's been here a long time, hasn't he? You know, there's kind of recognition. So I want you to roll a dice. Again, I don't have.
I'll let you do that.
Oh yeah, okay. So, I will. Where's my dice? Might as well, if you trust me. Well, let's see if my gadget works. So I'm giving you 2 extra dice there, aren't I? So 5 dice. Let's see if this works. 5 dice. Submit, and we're looking for Brooks. And you get 1 and 1 weave, so that's enough. We can re-roll. The weave, because if you get 2 more than you need, then it's an epic pass. So and that's another weave. So yeah, 2 more. We can keep re-rolling, but it'll come to the same result of an epic pass. So that means in game terms you get to take over for the moment, Jonathan, as storyteller. You've passed. You have. They're like, yeah, he's always here. Yeah, we trust this guy, of course. You know, it's what's his name? What's his name? So you take over. What happens next?
So as Gabriel Cultivar,
Yeah, Gabe. Yeah, everyone knows Gabriel.
I can't remember what we were doing. We were trying to
Convince
this guy to give us the location of this treasure.
Well, you're trying to convince the crowd not to blow his head off. So Annie's character was like, "Let's strike a deal," and they were like, "No way. He's either helping us or he's dead. He's not helping you."
Right.
So how are you going to convince the crowd not to kill him?
So another of my talents is preaching. Preaching to the crowd. So while I'm talking to them, I'm also trying to get them as followers to the House of Cultivar.
Right. Okay. So yeah, and I'm going to let you get away with this because your role was so good. So there's like people in that room have never been religious in their entire life. They've never, they've been some really bad people, and they somehow they're all of a sudden they just get this feeling of good come over them, and they want to do something good, and you can see the mood in the rude change. I don't know how you've done it, but yeah, they start. Yeah, Gabe, yeah, he's a nice guy. we can trust him. He's always got some good things to say, hasn't he? And they start to back off, and the drunks are, oh, thank you so much. But unfortunately, Ion's completely freaked by this. He's starting to twitch. He's not enjoying all these guns, this complete breach of security. He has seen straight through your speech. It hasn't affected him at all, and he's just making him twitch. This is malfunctioning, all sorts of things going on in his AI. It's like the scene from 2 weeks. He just can't cope with what's going on, and all the guns in the room now turn on you, Jonathan, and the almighty staticky screech comes out of Ion's mouth. Enough! And there's a flash of light, and then you wake up, and everyone's gone in the room. There's no coins left on the floor. The drunk's gone. The bouncers are clearing up all the glass and clearing away. Everyone else has vanished. Ion seems to be back to normal. He's polishing tables. What do you do? P&L, your systems are coming online. We imagine a black screen and a light lights up and expands, and your vision receptors come online. You find a jar of lubricant, a high-end lubricant next to you, perhaps to down that to bring your sensors fully back online. What's happened? What's going on?
I obviously have ended a jar of lubricant, and I pat my tummy because I've squirreled away a few of the silver pieces, and I look around to find out where the what's his name is. Reese Limbo has vanished too, and I think he's behind the bar, hidden behind the bar.
Okay, so.
And I whisper it to the other three.
Okay, give me who did the previous perception check? I want to see what you can see here. Who was good at that? And so that was Gales. Give me a Gales check.
Me?
Yes, please. And this time I'm going to use one of my cards. I'm going to make this more difficult for you. I'm going to play a 2 of Gales. So this time you need 2 successes.
Alright, well, I mean, with 6 dice, it has to happen one way or another. They're going everywhere. I got 2 Gales. There's one right there. A weave. And 2 weaves. 2 Gales and 2 weaves.
Alright, so yeah, an epic pass once again. So you've got 2 more than required. What can you take over the storytelling for a second? What can you see? Well,
there's glass everywhere. Maybe a half-broken table that needs to be fixed when the other occupants of the bar threw Reese onto it. And maybe there's a bit of a drunken moan coming from somewhere. And I just quietly get up and walk around to see what I can see, and just kind of lean over the bar and then lay on it like I'm bored of just the entire situation, and then look at the others and just kind of nod slightly, saying that Penal is right and the drunkard is behind the bar.
Yep.
Kind of knocked out.
Yep. Okay. Well, he's more than knocked out. He's dying, actually.
Okay.
Ion notices you now, and he's profusely, especially looking at PNL, I'm so sorry about what happened. He explains that he set off one of his protection systems that knocked all humanoids out, and even overloaded PNL's optical sensors, and temporarily sent you into shutdown. He managed to get all the customers out and back onto their ships with orders to leave immediately or be destroyed. And you know, he took such a liking to you. He let you remain in the bar to protect you from the others who were quite hostile towards you after they came to their senses. But yeah, the drunks laid dying behind the counter. What do you want to say to him?
I'd like to, Tina, I would like to add a quick question that in Raven's, she's got this metaphysical sense, and then we've got an archangel. Couldn't we sort of delve into his memories and
pull out the information we're needing?
Pull out the memories and maybe implant them in PNL or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, because one of my talents is a voice for the dead. I can commune with the spirits of the dead.
An archangel can do something similar.
Okay. Let's think what that should be. So, I'm thinking like an intelligence challenge, perhaps. No, a psych check. That fits perfectly, I think, which comes under a Brooks challenge. So, and again, I don't have, although I get a new card now, don't I? So let me just get rid of that one. How do I? Let me just dish out myself a new card in case. I'll shuffle that.
So we're not the only ones.
No, we're not. I'm kind of surprised Ellie didn't freak out. It's glitching.
No, it's the flames. So, there's nothing I can do about that. I can't make that any harder for you. So I'm looking for a Brooks challenge, only needing one, and see if you can do your mind meld or whatever it is to get inside his mind and figure out where this treasure is.
Well, maybe
success.
But maybe.
So how many dice? You need to convince me of your dice. How many you're rolling?
Well,
so you start with 3.
Other than the voice of the dead, I know how to commune with the spirits of the dead. This trait is usually seen as madness or superstition by others, but none can deny the results of your whispering and prayers.
Okay, so that gets you up to 4 dice. Anything else that can help?
I'll walk over.
Yeah, you can assist. Do an assist.
Yeah, because other than the voice of the dead, I have nothing.
Okay, so how are you going to help?
I probably have a kind of a last rites sort of thing, so kind of help that threshold sort of thing. If he has any last words, idea.
Okay.
Parting thoughts.
Yeah, so that gets you up to 5. And Jonathan, your skill of are you some kind of religious man or something like that?
Ethnologist.
Yeah. So,
the ethnologist, being able to grasp customs, body language, and communicate normally with different people, that would probably help.
So you might be able to tap into just
being.
Are you cutting out there, Jonathan? I think.
Oh, no, I was saying, go ahead. What were you saying?
So yeah, I think like using that skill to tap into what instinctively you get a feel for what his religious beliefs around death might be, so you might be able to help Raven's character say the right words and tap into his psyche of what he thinks is going to happen to him next. And
Being able to preach to others, yeah.
Yeah.
Help me.
So yeah, you've convinced me. 6 dice, looking for, what did I say? Brooks, the blue one, please.
I got a weave.
Just one weave? Well,
Weave.
that's enough. Roll it again.
I got a flames.
Okay, so it's enough to pass. So yeah, you've entered his mind, and I'd like to picture you're in some kind of. Actually, let's say you're in his mind, but you're back in the bar. Everything's much darker. Shadows are moving around the room. Ghost-like figures walking back and forth, having conversations you quite understand, and the drunks cowering and gibbering in the corner of the room. How are you going to convince him to? What are you going to say to him?
I'm going to take him back to him approaching me and have him sit down and have a drink with me. Kind of reset the scene before.
Okay, so the vision shifts, the shadows become brighter, and it's almost a mirror image of the scene we were at earlier. He's approached you, but this time you've got much more control over it. And a drink instantly appears in his hand, and a bright smile appears on his face.
And then I start asking him the question that everybody wants to know: where is this treasure map or X that he was talking about? And I want to, like, the physical part of me, wave P&L over so that I can plug him into the drunk.
Okay, yep. So he's
for the extra energy.
So he thinks this is the reality, so he's still going to try and barter with you because he doesn't realise he's dead. And he pulls out of his pocket a data chip. Looks like, I suppose in our time maybe an SD card, but this is like made from crystal. And he slips that across the desk and says everything you need to know is on that disc. That will guide you to the location of Xavier's treasure, but for a price.
Name it.
I need a ship, a fast ship.
That can be arranged.
Okay, so he looks at Annie's character and tell me about this ship.
She's the fastest in the galaxy.
Ha! I bet that's what you tell all the drunks.
Very few can actually back it up.
So maybe P&L can help you bring up some kind of hologram of the schematics of this ship, perhaps?
Simple, I just...
Yeah, you know, she made the Kessel run in less than 12 parsecs.
And the drunk's never seen that movie, so he's like, whoa. Really?
Yeah.
So I like to imagine Bender's eyes kind of glow, and Princess Leia comes out, and you're my only hope, and he goes, oh no, that's the wrong one. And a schematic of your ship appears, and maybe to take the Star Wars theme even further. P&L has a joke, and because he knows this guy's dead, right? And he's not going to get the ship anyway. So it's the Millennium Falcon that's just
Best ship in the world.
That's spinning around. The drunk's too drunk to I'm dead almost to even notice that this is a film from 1970 whatever 8 was it 1979. So it's thousands of years later. It's like, whoa. Looks like a heap of junk, but it's fast. I can tell by the schematics, and all the figures are coming up that P&L's making up on the spot of how fast it is, and it's just a complete load of rubbish.
Show his hiding holes too.
Yes, you can hide under there, and if you get into trouble, and
As long as the guy's happy. That's all that matters.
Yeah, he's over the moon. Okay. So you hand him over the ignition keys or whatever the Millennium Falcon starts with, and he hands over the data disk, which is useless to you in this realm because it's not real. But he thinks he's got the deal. So you know that you need to find on his body the data disk.
And one of my arms sneaks out and pats him down.
So you're back in reality now. So you've
back in reality. The arm that
she's robbing a dead body.
so you've exited the construct that Raven's character created with her special abilities, and you're back in the bar in reality. The cleaning's still going on. Ion's busying himself, tidying up, and still muttering himself, apologising profusely about knocking you all out. So you pat down the drunk's body, and sure enough, in fact, clutched in his hands, you find the data disk. So what are you going to do with this data disk now?
I'm going to superstitiously hide it in my data area.
Data bank.
So are you accessing this, or it's just stored there, or?
I'm taking the whole thing right now. I haven't accessed it.
Okay, so that's stored within a handy little recess that Bender has. Opens up the front, I think, as the usual, and there's a few cans of industrial lubricant in there, and he P&L slips it in between some cans of lubricant that are inside Bender's chest. So what's next?
I stand and I look over at everyone or who's ever around me and say, well, should we become pirates?
So, do you, Jonathan, what does your character think about going after Xavier's treasure?
If that's what the Baron's mission is, and we're supposed to become pirates, then I'm all for that.
Well, the one thing you do know about the Baron is that he likes money, and in fact, I'll give you a bit more information about Xavier. See if a knowledge check. Who's got flames as their natural ability? They'd probably know who this. Can anyone remember?
Well, it fails. Look in the chat. Annie? I think. Oh no, that's a Brooks challenge. My bad.
Let's have a look. Oh yeah, it was Joshy who isn't playing tonight. So maybe I'll give it a go. So we're looking for a flames. And what the heck? I'll throw in one of my cards. So the 2 of flames. So I'm looking for a 2 of flames to see if anyone actually knows anything about Xavier's treasure and the origins of it. So Jonathan, you'll need me to roll for you, won't you?
Oh yeah.
I feel kind of half lingering again.
So you start.
The cards you gave him ended up making me Gales.
Ah, weird. Well, we could do with someone having an alignment to flame. So let's say you do so. You're already up to 4 dice then, Jonathan. So I'll roll for you. Have you got any abilities that you've that would perhaps something that helps you with history, that would help you with the story of identifying what Xavier's treasure is all about?
Maybe I could contact my government and they would have some information.
Oh yeah, okay. I like that. Yeah. And PNL, would you be able to help Jonathan with that? Get a signal out to a direct line to his government?
I couldn't hear. I didn't hear a word that you said. I'm sorry.
Okay. So Jonathan was saying his character, to try and gather some information about Xavier's treasure, would contact his government, and I'm just wondering if your AI abilities would enable you to get a direct line to his government. You know, some kind of.
I do seem to have a very strong signal. Yes.
Yep. So 6 dice. I'll give to your character then, Jonathan. Sorry, that would take you up to 5 to try and get a 2 flames on this, wasn't it? So, yep, you've got 1 flame and 2 weaves. And so we get to roll another 2 of those. So, yep, you've got 1 more than required. So it's not an epic pass, but you've passed that. So yeah, you've got a direct line to your government, and yeah, they yeah, of course, and they're all over this. If you can find that treasure, you know, that is surely going to get us back in the good books of the Baron, and probably all of your comrades as well. The Baron, it's epic. Xavier, it's legend now, but he is believed to have brought about the downfall of Earth. He was a scientist, a scholar, a hero of his time. You know, loved across the world for his intelligence and the things he brought to humanity. But it was all a trick. He stole Earth's fortune and fled in his ship, and has been lost ever since. And that was the beginning of the end of Earth. And some people thank him, and that it was time to leave Earth and spread out across the solar system. And some people hate him, and people have been hunting him down for years, not just for his treasure, but to seek vengeance on him for the inevitable downfall of Earth, environmentally, economically, the poverty it brought to many. So yeah, your government have, you know, this is an official decree. Go after that treasure, and pay off our debt to the Baron, and get us out of this mess. So I guess P&L hears all that as well, but are you going to relay that to your fellow colleagues before P&L does? I'm sure P&L wouldn't be able to keep their mouth shut.
Well, because I'm paranoid, I probably only give them the information that is pertinent to the mission.
Okay, so what would that be? So how much information would you give them?
Basically, I tell them where we're supposed to go, but not give them information so much about paying, like my government owing the Baron favors and stuff. They let them know enough of that information, but enough to know that what we're supposed to do.
Okay. So you've got a little bit more information of how vast this treasure is. You have a disc of the location that you've acquired and tricked out of a dead man. What are you going to do next?
What else is there to do? I got wheels. Let's go.
So where are you going?
Some of my
well, wait, isn't there
my inventory items is a solar map, so that should help us.
Excellent.
Yeah, do we have on that data crystal is there any sort of coordinates or anything? Perhaps I can jot down a quick map.
I have a solar map in my inventory, so it has all known and unknown locations.
Excellent. So let's see if you can access this data disk, then let me look at what kind of challenge I want out of you to. Because unfortunately, when you PNL, when you try to access this, it is highly encrypted, and
it's a very old script system.
Yeah. So you're just not getting through. And Ion, actually, he takes a look at your PNL and notices. As humans, we couldn't pick up these signals, but he can tell that you're battling against some encryption and trying to break it. And he asks if he can be of assistance.
And I obviously say yes and tag into Ion, and there's quite a few sparks flying.
Yeah. So you both your eyes roll in the back of your heads, and everyone's like, "Ooh, what's going on here?" Like, don't worry, we're trying to break the encryption. Nothing else. And Ion's like, wow, he's paid some serious money for this encryption. I suspect he's tapped into some of the treasure that he's got from Xavier's stash, and pays for some serious encryption. Ion says there's only a few hackers he knows that could get through this encryption. One of them is a good friend of his, who's he's in orbit around Pluto. And Ion says, if you fly over there, I'll send a message for him to help you. And his name is Minerva Yoko. Minerva Yoko. Ask for Minerva Yoko when you get to Pluto. And obviously for a price, but he's the best hacker that Ion knows. Should be able to get through those security systems and access those files for you.
Does Ion want a share?
Ion thanks you. I think he's built up a great rapport with you, PNL. But he says no. This is his home. His actual. He was built for this, for the last drop in. He's not as free as your AI is. He's unfortunately his intelligence infrastructure is actually built into the structure of the bar, and he can't leave it, and that's why he was so protective of it. The glass tables is fine, but to have gunfire actually inside his bar, it risks damaging himself, his entire being, his intelligence, and that's why he took such brutal measures to bring an end to the impeding gunfight. So he thanks you, welcomes you back anytime. He's going to keep you registered on the marketplace, and he knows how to contact. He's kind of got your digital signature now, PNL, so he can contact you with any future work. And you've got your maps of the solar system. So, Pluto. Everyone knows where Pluto is. So.
Next door.
Next door. So I guess you're going to jump in your ship.
Oh yeah.
And head off. So, Hanny, you sent me a message. You need to stop soon.
I do. Yeah, I have to start work in about 30 minutes.
Okay. So how much longer have we got you for?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay. So let's cut ahead. You're flying through interstellar space, heading over to Pluto, and you're starting to orbit the space station that orbits around Pluto, and you're challenged over the radio by the security forces, asking why we're not expecting you, why you're here. We've shut down the spaceport. The entire zone's gone crazy. Xavier's treasures being found. It's going crazy. There are people flying everywhere. We've had people raiding Pluto, trying to get in here for clues. You know, we're not accepting anyone. Basically, go away.
All right. I guess I can try to sweet talk the flight folks in order to let us we'll be 5 minutes in and out. Just have to go pick something up and we'll be right back out again.
Okay.
That's all we're doing.
I want to
doing that. I, as a navigator, is one of my talents. I'm trying to figure out a way around their security measures so that we can fly undetected.
Nice. Okay, there sounds like there's 2 challenges come up here. So, Annie's character is going to try and distract them, sweet talk them. Meanwhile, you're going to try and find some kind of loophole, some kind of entrance into the space station to get maybe go off the radar. And I think the perfect opportunity to bring P&L in here as well. I think you need to spam their radar or something like that. So I think we need to kind of combine a couple of checks here. So we're Annie distracting them with
finding back doors.
Yeah. Annie trying to distract them. You distracted me now. I can't think straight. Annie's trying to distract them. Jonathan's character is trying to. He's frantically looking at the readouts from the ship, looking at the schematics of the space station, trying to find the recommended back door from P&L, and P&L is going to jam the radars and things like that. So let's see how we can combine all these together. So, and I'm not going to make this easy for you because this sounds quite difficult. So Jonathan, I think it's going to be a dexterity, some seriously good flying here. It's going to be like threading a needle to fit through the gap in the radar that P&L's identified. It's barely big enough for your ship to squeeze through. Annie's character is distracting them, getting them to check. Surely we must be down on the guest list somewhere. I know your manager. Get them on the phone. All these kind of things to distract them away from their screens. So I want a Gales check, and I am going to make this difficult for you. I'm going to throw in my Gales 3. So I want 3 successes on a Gales check. So let me have a look at what's your character called, Jonathan, again? Gabriel.
Gabriel? Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mine?
Yep.
Gabriel Cultivar.
So you do actually have Gales as your alignment, so that takes you up to 4 dice. And let me get rid of that. So anything else that can convince me that you can thread this ship through the eye of a needle?
So I have one of my talents as a navigator. I can discern direction in any environment and navigate through the blackness of space.
Okay. Convince me. 5 dice. Anything else?
Angel can shift time.
I'm aesthetic, so long periods of waiting don't bother me.
But she's already distracting me.
I'm not convinced by that one, Jonathan. This is you need to act quick here, I think. While Annie's distracting them, it's not about waiting; it's acting quickly. Anyone else able to offer Jonathan's character any assistance while he's...
So his name's Gabriel. Is he also an Archangel energy? Because I didn't hear anything about what he is.
Oh, yes, I do have...
Okay, so Archangels should be able to shift
time
and dimensions.
I have that one.
Might be able to shift shift dimensions, go through, and then come back.
But it might not be an backstory.
No, I don't think it's. Let's have a
I
look
don't
at.
have altered physiology, but that just means I'm strong and fast and aging. And
So
can
yeah,
survive in a vacuum.
I didn't hear any of who you are, unfortunately.
Well, 5 dice is quite a lot. Let's see anything in your inventory. No. Okay, well, let's go for 5 dice. That's not bad. But you need 3 successes from this. And we're looking for gales. So you've got no gales there, but 1 weave. So let's re-roll that weave. And no, so that's a fail. So you as you're flying the ship, it's turned on its side to pass through this anomaly that you've found in their radar array. But unfortunately, you must just clip it, and you hear a voice over the radio. What the hell do you think you're doing? And you've got 5 seconds to get out of here. We're locked on. You've got 5 seconds to. What are you going to do?
Oh, I comply with what they're doing and or what they're saying.
So imagine Annie's quick thinking. Oh, sorry, we slipped. Some industrial lubricant gone to the controls, and we fell over. A joystick got stuck where it shouldn't, and also it's embarrassing. We'll get out of here. So how are you going to get in? You need to see Minerva Yoko, the hacker.
Is my neighbor Yoko IA, or is it a human?
Bye, Annie. Tune into the recording, and you'll find out if we kill your character or not.
It's totally by accident, on purpose.
Sorry, what were you saying, PNL?
I forgot. What did I say?
I'll have to rewind it. So you need to get in and see this hacker to access this data.
Is the hacker a human or an AI?
Let's say he's a fellow AI. It was Ion that recommended him. Let's say he's a special.
I should be able to find his signature.
Okay, let's try that. Let's see if you can reach him. I guess his security measures will be pretty tight, but let's see if you can manage to get through and get a message to him. Maybe he can open a hole in the radars and things and allow you to dock, or maybe he can make your ship's name suddenly appear on the manifest that wasn't there a moment ago. So
do we even need to land with he's an AI and I'm an AI?
Well, actually, yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah, perhaps you don't even need to land. Yeah, so let's see if you can get in contact with him. So, what would that be? I would say that would be some kind of. I'm going to go for a physical challenge because you're an AI. It's not like lifting something, but it's kind of breaking through security, breaking any defenses that their systems may have. So I'm picturing in my mind, almost a battlefield being fought out against your AI's intrusion software that you're sending forth, and the anti-intrusion software that the space station has to stop any hacks. And maybe you've got other software that's infiltrating to stop alarms going off and stopping the onboard AI alerting the humans on board to send out defences. So I imagine it's some kind of, although it's not a physical battle, that's how I'm imagining it. So you
have a talent for inconspicuousness.
Okay.
And also survivalist.
So I'll give you the inconspicuous one that you've. I'm going to say that you've actually got quite far into the defences. You've bypassed some without any of the AIs within the security systems even noticing. You've just got through them. So that I'm going to represent that with an extra dice. And you're already aligned to stones, I believe, is your character. Looking at your character sheet, so that takes you up to 5. And anything else that you've got that can convince me to give you another dice?
Remove.
I have a call.
War cry. That's not really.
That wouldn't. Yeah, I could still do war cry with. I could go around him to another AI.
Yeah,
that might be tapped into him.
Say that again. Sorry.
I have the call. I have a call. And it says once per session I can do a call, and somebody from Dead Earth will recognize that call and will assist in the next encounter I have.
Okay. So let's say that he recognizes that call, but even himself, he needs to get through those. To get a signal out to you as well, so he's kind of fighting from the back and you're fighting from the front to get through these defences. So he's lending an extra dice to you thanks to that. So that takes you up to 6 dice. I am going to use one of my stones cards to take that up to a stones level 2 challenge. So from your 6 dice, we need to see 2 stones, please.
Hey, two stones exactly. 3. 2. No, that's a purple. 2 stones.
And 1 strike, but...
Well, that's enough.
You still passed.
Okay.
So yeah, those defences have fallen down completely. Your sideways infiltrators have got in and disabled all the alarms. You've silently got through. And Minerva from the other side hearing your call, he started to peel away the security measures from his side. The countermeasures are falling down silently. He's just as talented. Well, in fact, he meets you way more than halfway through those barriers. He's so talented at breaking down these. He's a master hacker, but he's furious though when you finally get a direct line. He's like, I could never refuse that call, but what the hell do you want? Do you know how much trouble I'm going to be if I get caught in taking down my host's defenses?
And I say, I'm sorry, buddy, we can have a drink sometime.
Well, the only thing I ever drink is industrial lubricant, and I ain't seen any of that in years. So I doubt that's going to happen.
I happen to have some in my storage, actually. I can beam it down.
Yeah, and he says, well, looking at the records, you've just been refused entry, and you're flying away from the space station orbit under commands from the security. I'm not sure how you're going to get that to me.
Next time.
I owe you.
Who sent you here? How do you know me?
Ion sent us.
Ion.
Ion.
Yes, our good fellow Ion.
Yeah, Ion. What a charmer he is. He's the one that got me onto this addiction of industrial lubricant in the first place. Yeah, so you've been to the last drop in, have you?
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
Quite a drop.
And I don't suppose you were there when I've heard the rumours that Xavier's the start of this entire new treasure hunt started there.
Now that you mention it, I do have a crystal I'd like to send you, see if you could help us decrypt.
And what is on this data crystal?
Locations.
Locations, just locations, star map, nothing more.
No big deal.
He starts to. I feel like you're wasting my time here.
Oh, I'd never ever do that.
You wouldn't travel all this way, go through the difficulty of breaking through through all these countermeasures, use that call, which I know isn't used lightly. What the hell is on that disc?
You have to. We don't know. That's the thing. That's why we need you. If you could find it in your
hardware
to assist, we would be eternally grateful. And I promise you, a case of lubricant, or maybe 5.
Okay, there's one other thing that he's always desired. And like he says to you, like Ion, I'm trapped here. My AI, my infrastructure's part of the software mainframe here. I can't leave. I've always wanted a casing. If you can arrange for me to hack,
I can actually arrange that. I have a really good contact. And
who may that contact be?
I call him ice cream, but his name's Hagendane.
And he's like, oh, you've got yourself a deal. That man, I hear, can get his hands on any casing. There's rumours going round he managed to find a Bender casing from the 21st century. I don't know, have you heard of a show called Futurama?
Yeah, I love that show.
Yeah, well, I don't know which lucky AI's currently travelling around in that, but if you can get me something like that, then if you can put me, sort me out, get me that case of lubricant, then I'm your man to hack that disc.
You've got a deal.
Okay, so
I can give you a digital thumbprint for that.
Oh yeah, I like that. Yeah, so maybe that's some kind of unbreakable agreement that AIs can do. Is this kind of digital thumbprint sharing? I like to imagine almost like a mutual kind of self-destruct. If someone breaks that bargain, then that's like the off switch for an AI. Very serious bargain. So.
It's a touch magical, all right.
Say that again.
It is a touch magical, all right.
Okay.
Built-in self-destruct button.
Yeah.
So he says, "Go ahead, start. Give me access to the disk." So do you plug that in somewhere
and I beam it straight to him.
Yeah. So
very high vibrational level, so that nobody else can
intercept.
On the highly encrypted.
Secure line.
Yep. So again, that thumbprint agreement digital thing enables this secure line as well. That's part of the deal, that you have this secure line together now, unhackable line. And yeah, he confirms that this data is downloading now, and he whistles. This guy's got some serious countermeasures on this. Let me see what I can do. And within a second, I've done it. That took took a really long time. And the humans on the ship are like, you are, but to an AI, he was in there a long time, slowing down speed, trying to get through this, through these countermeasures. For an AI, that took a long time, but to the humans, it was just a second before he was complaining how good it was, and then he said he's hacked it. And what he explains is that it's not so much the there's no location on here. If he's guessing that you're after the treasure, there's no location on here. But what there is a trail. I can see it's a money chip. This is where he stored all his credits. It's already got billions of credits on here. You'd be able to buy your ship with the amount that's on here. But what it does show is where he's been spending that. And it looks like he's owned this data chip for a long time, and Minerva says that he can see the sudden spike in wealth on this data chip. This guy had very little money for a very long time, a lot of it spent in bars, a lot of it in negative credit, barely coming out of that negative credit, usually in gambling dens around the solar system, drinking dens. You can see he was a regular in the last drop. And then the spike in money was on a moon called 90377 Sedna, which is a mining moon that's in the belt surrounding Saturn. Hardly anyone goes there, and the only reason to go there is to get work as a miner. There's smelting for the ores that they gather there, and what Minerva explains is that the first purchase that was made on that planet was an actual smelting device to melt down metal, and then 2 weeks later, that was when the 2 billion credits appeared on this card, and then he left. He bought a ship and left, and then the next purchase was once again in the last drop. So so you can see a trail now of no money, and then money appearing on 90377 Sedna, which I imagine will be on your maps somewhere. Yeah.
And so it shouldn't be hard to find.
And what you'll be able to see on your solar map is that nearby is a nebula, which is called the Lingering Nebula. And give me, let's have a look. Let's see what roll I want from you on this. I want a flames intelligence. I want to find out what you know about the Lingering Nebula.
Okay. This should be fun. I know nothing.
Well, let's see how many dice you get to roll. So you begin with 3, and I'm going to throw in my 2 flames challenge. So so that's you're going to need 2. So convince me someone that you know lots about the Lingering Nebula. How do you know? So I think I will give someone a dice for the maps that you hold. So maybe they're annotated in some way.
So the solar map, because I'm a sanctioned special government agent, it's invaluable to particular operations. Maybe I know a little bit more about the solar system.
Okay, yes. So maybe your government primes you with particular areas and what to expect in those areas when you're on missions for them. Okay, so that takes you up to 5. Anything else you can convince me with?
I'm also a navigator, so I can discern direction of any environment and navigate through the blackness of space.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe your navigating records and navigating skills. Maybe you've never seen this particular nebula before, but perhaps you know what to expect, what can happen in those kind of areas. So yeah, I'll give you an extra dice for that. So 6 dice, and I'm after 2 flames, please. So and I need to roll for you, don't I, Jonathan?
Yes.
6 dice, submit, 2 flames, and there we go, 2 flames. So just got it. There was 2 strikes in there, but yeah, no one's taken a strike today actually. So so yeah, there are some annotations on your solar map about the lingering nebula, and you're looking at some of the data sets about this particular nebula. And although you've never travelled to this nebula, you are familiar with their properties. And what you do know is that they are the perfect place to hide a ship. If you're going to hide a ship, you would hide it in a nebula of those properties.
How far is it?
What was that?
Oh, an ad just popped up on my phone.
So let's recap what you know. Xavier's ship's gone missing. The drunk appears to have found it. He's had no money passing through that area, made it to 90377 Sedna, and all of a sudden had the money to purchase a smelting device, and then 2 weeks later his credit chip was loaded up.
2 weeks. So it has to be within a 2 week, 1 week.
No, sorry, he stayed on Sedna for 2 weeks with his for whatever purpose he bought the smelting device for.
Okay.
So that was smelting device is designed to melt down. Well, on their planet it was for the iron ore they're mining, but perhaps the drunk had other purposes for that.
And how big is Sedna?
It would similar size to Earth's moon.
Okay. And it has a main port. Any other ports or just the main port?
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 there. There is the main mining port towards the north pole of the moon, and that's where all the mining ships come and go from. There is a smaller one on the southern pole, but that's pretty much abandoned. The metal ores have almost depleted there. There recently a new company did take it over in the hope of trying to find further deposits of the ore, but the news is that they're really struggling. The third port is on the equator, and is used for pirates, basically. It keeps getting destroyed by the security forces on 90377 Sedna, but the pirates keep rebuilding it. They go down there and steal ore and use that to transport it out there. It's an ongoing battle that they have. As soon as one's destroyed, they've built one somewhere else on the equator. It's cheaper on fuel to get the heavy metal ores off from the equator.
Okay, so Reese Limbo wasn't at the third place, obviously. So he had to be at one of the other 2 locations?
Yeah, so he purchased... the Minerva would be able to tell you that from the chit, actually. He tells you that he bought... I can clearly see that he bought it from the southern pole, and for actually a pretty good price. And he checks his records and he can see from other sources that that mining company down on the South Pole have been selling all sorts of equipment. They're clearly struggling to keep afloat financially down there.
And did he what kind of equipment did he have for travel? Reese Limbo.
Mine
on the
Planet?
Sedna.
Minerva can see that the ship that he purchased from the southern port is a mining vessel, so not very fast, and perhaps explains why he was so desperate to get a faster ship from you.
But it took him 2 weeks to get the ore and the money, right?
Yeah, so whatever he was melting, it took him 2 weeks to do that, and then suddenly the money appears.
It has wherever this ship is, it has to be extremely close to Sedna, or else he wouldn't be able to do it within that time frame with a slow ship. So that would put him in what parsecs?
Sure. Like with Star Wars.
So I think Jonathan's character, knowing that, you know, he would say that the lingering nebula is certainly within that time frame. If he was to want to hide a ship like Xavier did and hide his treasure, the nebula would be the perfect place to do so.
So then, obviously,
we want to go into the nebula.
We want to go in to the nebula within probably the edge of it.
Okay.
In a specific area, well, cut down area where to search, I would think.
So, are you going to lock down that destination then?
Yes, as navigator, I can.
Yeah, I say so.
All right.
Yeah. So, lingering nebula it is, and as you're heading towards the lingering nebula, you've been perhaps discussing on the ship how you're going to spend the treasure. You're convinced, you know, from your deduction skills, you're hacking, you're bribing, you're tricking dead people into giving you over the data. You're convinced this is the location of Xavier's missing bulk carrier that has all the treasure taken from Earth before its demise. Let's see, have I...
Would the psychic abilities come into play at this point?
Some Starship Bridge music as you're traveling through space.
Some of the abilities that requires direct sunlight, and I feel like we're in space, we're on a ship, I'm never in direct sunlight.
Yeah.
So,
somehow we end up on a planet.
So as you're approaching the lingering nebula, you've been relaxed. This has taken you a week's travel. It's been quite far to get there, and as you approach the nebula, give me a perception check, please. So who would be the best for that? That is a Gale's challenge.
I can do it.
Yep. So. I don't... Oh, yes, I do. I have a Gale's challenge of 2, so I'm going to throw that in. So you've got 3 dice. Convince me why I should give you some more.
My keen-eyed talent plus gift of dusk.
Explain the gift of dusk to me.
The weird energies of the interstellar medium beyond the Oort cloud have transformed you. You can feel the flow of the void around you, and on occasion can detect it to manifest in mystical ways.
Okay, yep. Okay, so and do you have an alignment to this challenge already,
yeah,
Gales? So you're already on 4. That takes you to 5. Was there anything else I've missed?
The keen-eyed.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So 6. So I'm after 2 Gales from you, from 6 dice. Let's see what you get.
I got 1 Gale, 3 weaves.
Wow, so that's double what you required, and you can keep rolling those weaves.
Yeah. Another gale and 2 blue ones. Forget what the blue ones are called. Water.
Brooks, I think they. So I'm going to hand the storytelling over to you now. What do you perceive in the nebula?
Well, obviously there's something hidden. I want to take a closer look at it.
Yep. So you can sense something out there.
Yeah.
In the nebula.
I can do the old Jedi mind trick.
Yeah.
Okay, style.
Okay. I mean, it was such a good roll. You know, I'm happy to say, you know, you can sense a ginormous ship hidden in there. You know, the stars have aligned. Your abilities have not failed you here. You are picking up one heck of a big ship in there.
Would I also be possibly picking up like dead bodies or spirits lingering?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you are. It's a long distance. It's such a big ship. There's radiation. The nebula itself is shifting. So you're getting snapshots. But one moment you perceive life, but then it's not. You feel agony, you feel fear, you feel elation, you get flashes, terrible flashes of blood, teeth, claws, and then it's gone.
So, gruesome death.
Alien
invasion. Unless the people on the ship were the aliens and they just kind of cannibalized themselves.
Or unless they're still there living there.
But I can only sense the dead.
Okay,
so,
Are we sensing the ship or from the nebula itself?
It's directly from the ship, yeah. So it's going to be difficult navigating through this nebula. If only you had someone who was able to
navigator
pull off such a feat of amazing flight.
Well, I have the talent of navigator. I also have perfect direction knowledge.
And so does John, doesn't it?
Yep. So let's have.
I just have no.
So out of the deck of the ship. So Jonathan at the moment is at the controls. But yeah, you're correct. This is going to be a really difficult flight through this nebula. Many a ship has been torn to shreds or just completely vaporized by taking a wrong turn or just not navigating correctly through the magnetic fields of a nebula. So out of the control panel deck appears another seat. It just rises up out of the ground, a mirror image of Jonathan's seat, and Raven, your character sits down next to Jonathan, and the both of you take dual control over the ship for such a difficult challenge as this. So let's see what we're going to do about getting you through this nebula. I think this is going
as a powerful arc wielder.
Yep.
Can I somehow create some kind of anti-magnetic shield around our ship?
Oh, nice. Are you going to remove your collar to help you with that? Because that's in place too.
Yes. So I'll remove the dynamic dampening collar.
Okay.
And wield my arc casting powers to create this anti-magnetic shield.
So okay, yeah, I'll give you an extra dice for that. So that takes you up to 4. I'm gonna be doing stones challenge here. I think the reaction time, you're going to have quick reactions to get you to pilot this, dodging sudden bursts of electromagnetism. But yeah, that's going to give you an extra dice. What else can you convince me? And you're piloting this as well, Raven. So,
yeah.
What?
Right. Yeah. Let's see. Have navigator. Would Gift of Dusk play into this as well?
Just remind me what that is again, please.
I've mastered. Oh no, that's a different one. There we go. I can feel the flow of the void around me, and on occasion even detect and manifest it in mystical ways.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Happy with that. So we were up to 4. Now we're up to 5. Anything else? So this is a stones challenge. Have either of you got an alignment to stones?
I don't.
Sit next to him.
That's not the same thing.
I have an altered physiology, so maybe that gives me an advantage in piloting the ship. Maybe my reactions to things are a little faster.
Okay, yeah, and the stresses, the G-forces that you're going to experience. So so that takes you up to 6. I'm going to throw in a 2 stones here to make that a little bit more difficult for you, and I'm going to play an enticement here. So this is where I can play upon one of your flaws. And Jonathan, looking at your character, you have a flaw called losing control.
Mm-hmm.
So you lay at night fretting about it. You feel yourself losing your grip, and at this most vital moment, so you're just piloting through the nebula. I am going to entice you to say that your losing control flaw takes over here. So how an enticement works is I get to take over the story and do something nasty to you, but you will then be given a challenge card that then you can cash in later, which can be used to heal a strike. It can give you an additional dice. It can reduce a challenge by the number on that particular card that I give you. If you resist, then you have to not only pass that card, you have to pass the original Stones 2 test as well. So I am going to put a card down, and you need to decide whether you're going to accept the consequences or try and pass that test.
I think I will accept the consequences.
So you're accepting the consequences. So you now have, maybe make a note of this, a 3 Brooks challenge card. So that can be cashed in later to reduce a Brooks challenge. It can be cashed in to give you an extra dice. It can be cashed in to give you a healing strike. So you are flying through the nebula. Everything seems to be going fantastic. You've dodged clouds just appearing out of nowhere, and there's even debris in here. And you've threaded through it. This is the best piloting of your entire life. You two are in the zone. This is like one of you manages to flip the record button. Is like, you're going to share this on social media across the galaxy. This is going to go epic. The number of hits, subscriptions, likes you're going to get for this it's going to blow people's mind. And then the voice in your head, Jonathan's like, I don't deserve this. I don't. What am I doing here? Of course I can't pilot this thing. What on earth have I got myself in for? And that momentary doubt, that momentary losing control, that's your flaw. You miss this curling cloud of electromagnetism, and the ability that you use to build a shield around the ship, that momentarily, just at the wrong time as this curl of cloud comes at the ship, dissipates just for a split second, and the cloud grips your ship. All the lights go out. It's completely powered down, and you're tumbling. Gravity's fading. You suddenly start. P&L starts floating up. You two are belted into your seats, but P&L was tucking into some industrial lubricant, which is starting to flow out of the can, and P&L looks at it in horror, trying to maneuver their mouth to gather it as it's floating in 0G, not to waste a drop. And you're tumbling over, things are flying everywhere, and the front screen of the ship is spinning like that, and every so often you see this massive bulk of a spaceship every couple of seconds come flying past, and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and then there's an almighty smash, and your ship has just careered straight into Xavier's bulk ship cruiser.
Do we know it's Xavier's ship for sure?
Yeah, well, you do now. I've given it away. Pretend you didn't hear that. This massive ghost ship, and the side of the hull of your ship rips open, and all the oxygen is flushing out now. P&L goes flying out that rip and is ripped out into space, and is bouncing along the outside of this ship. You two are still strapped in your seats. What are you going to do?
I think I immediately unstrap myself, and being able to survive the vacuum of space, I go after PML.
Nice.
4 minutes.
What about?
No, but you're human. You have 4 minutes.
What about you, Raven? What are you going to do?
In my inventory, I have a face mask, so I'm going to slip that on, and I'm going to go running, do a flying leap into space, and maybe like dog paddle towards P&L.
Yes, I hope you're all picturing this in your mind, because in my head this looks freaking awesome. Jonathan's character just belts, not phased at all. You know, he's a bit gutted that he's caused this in the first place, but that's gone now. He's gone into action. Slaps his chest, belt opens, boom, straight out that rip, like he was born to do this. Dive straight out after P&L. P&L! He's shouting P&L's name, but it can't be heard in space, of course. Raven's character, inspired by Jonathan's character, it's like, you know, pull out your pack, you know, instinctual as well, straight on, cool oxygen going into your lungs, and you dive out after him. P&L, back to you. You know, while this is going on, so Jonathan's character's just unbuckling himself. So what's happening to you out there in the vast openness? You're banging into the ship as you're tumbling down through space. What's happening?
Darn, need another casing.
That's the first thing they go, oh, the Baron's gonna kill me.
Then my eyes sort of spiral open, and I see the ship in front of us, and I see a lock. An
airlock, okay, yeah.
And I sort of look back, and I see these dog pattern arrows, and I go, save me! Because I don't have any control out in space. I don't have. Look, do I have a jet? No, I would have used it by now.
Depends what you have in your inventory.
Yeah. So who you need to get to this airlock? Who's gonna grab you all, and how are you gonna get to this airlock?
So Jonathan seems to be the fastest,
Mm-hmm.
and the one with the most control.
My flaw of losing control also allows metal objects to slowly drift toward me. So maybe I use that.
That what?
So he becomes magnetic.
Oh, that's perfect.
Perfect. So you're drawing P&L to you with that ability. What are you doing, Raven, while all this is going, apart from the doggy paddle?
So Jonathan's ahead of me, right?
Yeah, he went out first after P&L.
I don't. Well, I do, because I'm bioengineered, but it doesn't really say metal specifically.
So PNL's slowly floating back to Jonathan, thanks to his ability.
Yeah. I think I'm just going to extend my dog pedal and try and get there faster.
Okay. I think I'm going to have to need some kind of check for that to see if you get there. And physical check is stones. I don't have any cards to throw in your way. So give me a 1 challenge.
All right.
And if you can convince me to give you more dice, you've got 3 at the moment. I'm happy to.
That's a talent. I don't actually think I have anything that would help me, honestly.
Okay. So
we're a team. Can we help each other?
Yeah, of course you can. So you're going to have to convince me though. PNL, you're tumbling but being drawn to Jonathan. He's concentrating. His character's concentrating on pulling you towards him. So I'm not sure how much help they're going to be. But if you can convince me, I'm all ears.
What about rockets? No.
But that's your backstory. So what you're looking for would be maybe in your inventory. The
Caliph stick. It's an instrument of war, but maybe it could be used as a maybe it was
extension
or because it's a stick. It could maybe, but it'd be more likely it would be a woven thing, a weave, something they weave and throw.
Oh, a net.
Yeah.
So,
is that possible?
I don't know. Let's find out. So what she's talking about is the Keyleth stick is a holy weapon in use by most tribes of Dead Earth. They have no uniform shape or design. A Keyleth stick is always made from salvage, and all of them look different. The key similarity is that all are made as instruments of war.
Okay. I will take pity on you. So Raven, you have this, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay, let's imagine that this stick of war is able to emit some kind of blast, so perhaps you can use the propulsion from that blast. So if you aim it away from you on an opposite trajectory to the airlock, perhaps it would blast you in that direction. Yeah, so I'll give you an extra dice for that. Clutching at straws, clutching at war sticks. So you've got 4 dice. We're looking for stones.
1.
What about Annie? Is she? Are we?
Well, I was about. We need to do this first, and then we'll decide what's happening to Annie.
Okay. I got 2 stones.
Nice. So so your war stick goes off, and the propulsion. You're heading directly for the airlock. Meanwhile, Jonathan's character has managed to get a hand grip on PNL, PNL's battered casing. And how are you now going to get to the airlock also, Jonathan, that you've got hold of?
So now, are there any... So there's no sun in that nebula or anything like that?
No.
Suppose I would continue to use that flaw of drawing metal and draw both of us toward the metal area.
Okay, yeah, I'm happy with that. So, meanwhile, let's think of where Annie is. Let me take inspiration from this. She was in the ship's exterior when all this happened. So let's say that particular part of the ship, she's a bit battered and bruised, but that currently has oxygen left in there. That was sealed off from the rip, and maybe next time we see Annie, she can explain to us how she survived that, or maybe if you survive, how you get back to her. But so let's cut.
Stuck in the other ship, right?
Yeah. So it's rammed straight into there. They're joined together. So you're heading to the airlock now, all three of you, and you reach the airlock, and it has a digital panel. If only you had an AI that could access such a panel.
It's just like Star Wars. I can
R2D2 style.
Yeah.
Plug in.
So, what attachment does Bender, I mean P&L, attach to themselves, and where do they stick it?
The extended hand, I think, would probably be the weird place for it.
Yep. So, I'm going to let you auto pass this because my challenged hand is absolutely terrible. It's all the same type of. So I am going to refresh my deck, and so yeah, it's a piece of cake. This is ancient tech to you, PNL. It's from Earth's distant past.
Do we have oxygen when we get
in? The key code was 123. It was a doddle. And the airlock opens in, and there's a momentary rush of air, which almost threatens to blow you back out into space. But thanks to Jonathan's magnetic ability, he's holding on tight to the hull as all this air rushes out, and manages to pull all three of you in. And P&L, you on the inside. There's another code panel, and it takes you a few seconds to realise that it's 4321 to close the door, and it shuts. Let me just refresh my deck of cards.
Excuse myself real quick.
Okay.
Go to sleep.
So I had all Brooks challenges there, so I'm going to shuffle that, grab some more. Ugh.
While you're doing that, I'll take
Okay.
You have books behind you? Are those all books?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, no, I just while Elle's gone, Raven's gone, I just was wondering if that's all books behind you.
They're actually board games, just there.
Oh.
Mostly board games and role-playing games. I'm a bit of a geek for this kind of thing.
I think most people around here are geeks, aren't
they? Yeah. So I.
Pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive, though.
Yeah, I've been collecting board games for quite a while and play a lot of war games and things like that in the past. But I've got children now, so I don't have as much time to play them. Although I'm indoctrinating them into the way of the board game, so hopefully as they get older. I
have a grandson who's 6, and we're going to do that too.
Brilliant. It'd be nice to see if someone creates because you can create your own play sets for Weave, can't it? It'd be nice if someone creates one suitable for children. I think it'd be quite an easy system to get children into role playing.
Putting it out in Wonderland.
No, I thought up of an Alice in Wonderland retelling type deal. I just finished reading a story about the Queen of Hearts and how she became the heartless bitch off with their heads that we know her as. It's actually a pretty interesting book.
Oh, you should totally do that playset. Have you read I've never read any of the Alice in Wonderland books, but there was one called that I have read called Automated Alice. I think it's kind of an unofficial spin-off of that story, and I think it's kind of a steampunk. Alice finds herself in a kind of a, if I remember rightly, kind of a steampunk situation. It's Automated Alice. It's called. It's worth a read. It was good.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, I like steampunk.
Welcome back, Jonathan. So we left off. Annie is trapped in the rear section of the ship, but safe for now, and the three of you have entered the giant spaceship.
They're here.
That's a bit loud. Let me turn that down a bit. A bit of. It wasn't too bad. It's quite loud at my end. So yeah, you're immediately presented with wreckage and burnt metal, bent metal, dust flying everywhere. You've disturbed dust, and you also see the most grotesque, deformed body. It clearly was once humanoid, but its features are stretched, and arms elongated, and its bottom half has been completely removed and is on the other side of the corridor, and it seems to have the remnants of some kind of space walking suit on, but how it ever fit in there is beyond you. It's deformed, out of shape. Is that too loud? What do you do next?
We want to know if it's a space virus.
Okay, so you want to analyze this somehow, I take it?
Yeah.
If it's a virus, is it still alive?
And is it going to do to us what it did to the previous occupants of the ship that were treasure hunting in?
Yeah.
Okay, so what kind of equipment, how are you going to test this body for any signs of virus?
I should be able to with my
With your tech?
maybe with a bit of tech.
Okay, so what have you got on you that could, just from your casing, are you going to
Lost talents. Mechanical. I'm a mechanical genius. So I should be able to take parts from the ship.
Oh, I like it.
Build something a la... I know there's a reference in there somewhere.
So I'm thinking a knowledge and an intelligence check. So you need to put all these pieces together. You need to have some kind of plan. So I'm thinking flames. I'm going to give you an extra dice for that ability. So that takes you up to 4. You have an alignment to flames, PNL. So you're not going to get any benefit there. Say again.
Her alignment is stone. Her alignment is stones, not flames.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant. This is a flames challenge, so you're not going to get any help from your own alignment because you're aligned to stones.
Okay.
And I've got no cards to make this harder for you, so I'm just looking for 1 flame.
What is again? Okay. What are those? These stones?
Roll it again.
Okay. 1 flame.
1 flame.
1 weave.
Okay, roll that again. Roll the weave again, please.
2 flames.
2 flames, perfect. So, yeah, looking around you, in fact, on the arm of the deceased, whatever it is, there's like a communicator. In our time, it would look like a smartwatch, but it's far more sophisticated from that than that. And on the wall next to you, there's some kind of computer panel. The wires have all been pulled out and the screen's smashed, but there's still salvageable tech
Is there a video?
in there. Pardon?
Is there a video?
Like a log?
Yeah, like a ship's log?
Yes, so you may be able to hack into that. So what do you want to do first? Do you want to create this virus checker, or do you want to hack into...
I want to hack into the log because it gives me all the answers.
Okay, yep. So give me... So you've got all the equipment you need now for the virus checker, but now you're saying you want to hack this. So I'm going to have to ask for another roll there. So and I'm going to use similar to what we did before. So this is kind of a physical challenge of you hacking something. So we're entering that kind of hacking infrastructure. We're entering that hacking infrastructure, so I'm going to go for a physical challenge, as imagining you having to battle your way through things. So 3 dice, but now that will take you up to 4 because you're already stones aligned, which is good for physical challenges. Anything else to convince me that you'll be able to hack this system?
I'm a combatant, a skilled fighter in order to hold on to harder
and treasure, and she's confident to, in most disciplines, ranges from weapons to hand-to-hand combat.
But weaponry would be with an AI would be
Yeah, I think we used that before, didn't we? To imagine, although I suspect that skill's normally used for a kind of a physical battle. We imagine in this battlefield of the cyber that will give you. So yeah, I'll give you another one for that. So 5 dice. We're looking at a stones challenge, and I do have a stones catch card, so I'm going to make this a stones 2 challenge to make it a little bit difficult for you.
let's try this again. 2 planes.
1 stone, 1 weave.
So that gets you your 2, and you get to re-roll the weave.
Flames.
So you've got your 2 stones, you've passed it, and you've hacked you. Yeah, it's quite a simple hack. Again, the things have moved on. You can tell this already that this is quite old-fashioned counter-hacking systems. It was a bit of a doddle really for you to get through. There were some challenges because it was kind of old tech and you were surprised to see it, and you had to access a few old schematics and manuals. You know, you had to read an entire library on ancient hacking of this kind of tech, but for an AI that only takes a few seconds. So you figured it out and you're through. And yep, you instantly greeted with like a landing page for the name of this ship, and the name of this ship is the Phaladon, and its most recent captain was Xavier himself. This is Xavier's bulk cruiser of legend that ran away with Earth's treasure. What else would you like to mine from this data from that you've accessed? What would you like to?
I want to see the log entries.
Okay.
I'd like to being a P&L. I'd like to see where all the money is, or all the treasure is, and what kind.
Okay, so you first of all you access the log files, and to your surprise, the security cameras picked something up just an hour ago, and it plays back, and you see an airlock. And at first you think it's the timing's wrong, and you think it's your airlock that you entered through, and you start to see sparks of a welder, arc welder, cutting through the airlock, and a little map schematic comes up, and it's on the opposite side of the ship that you've entered into, and the sparks flying, and you can see the arc welder red line go around the airlock. Whoever this is clearly didn't figure out the 1234 password to get in through the airlocks, and they're just going in the hard way. And as the door collapses inwards after the arc world has gone all the way around. There's flashing lights, and it kind of disrupts the camera. The security camera can't quite pick out what it is that's coming through as the lights flash around, and then you pick up the humanoid figures, but just as at the last section, as they move out of sight of the security camera, PNL says freeze frame, and in like the movies, you zoom into panel Z3, and it goes zooms into panel Z3, and PNL says shift 100 pixels to the left, and it goes, and then zoom again, shift focus, and it shifts slightly, and what you see is the shoulder pad of one of these humanoids that has entered, and you see the distinct red cross of the infamous SE1ep1 pirates. These are legendary for their brutality. They are barely human anymore. Some say cannibalistic, and some say have no interest in money or treasure, and have a pure interest in the suffering of others.
So now my character.
So they obviously
some kind of past storyline with dealing with these type of people. So I think I immediately put back on my dynamic dampening column so that I'm not causing some kind of emotional discharge.
Okay, so you're familiar with these. You immediately put your call. You are disgusted by the very fact that they're in the same solar system as you, let alone on the same ship. You've been well briefed of the brutality and heinous crimes that these pirates commit, and you're right to put your collar on, because you would seriously lose control without that on.
They obviously know we're there because of the impact of our ship.
Well, are they still there themselves?
They were there an hour ahead, but
they could have left, not finding that.
But they didn't show them going out.
No, but we haven't gotten that far yet either.
Okay.
So the other thing you wanted to do was look where the treasure was, and you interrogate the files and the looking at the manifest of what was taken on board, and there's enough food to last a lifetime down in the canteens. You can see that clearly. You can see weapons caches in another part of the ship, and the fresh water tanks are partially depleted, but there's still plenty in there. The oxygen scrubbers are fully functional. A few of the filters are malfunctioning, hence the dust and foul smell, but the oxygen levels are perfectly breathable and fine.
Is there anything we can use to repair our own ship?
Xenovirus is what they were scrubbed, right?
Yeah, so you the little device to detect the viruses is pretty you now realise redundant, as the data on board tells you that yes, in fact there is an unknown pathogen on board, and another video file pops up relating to that, and it is a video log from Xavier himself, but he's covered in blisters, and his facial figures are already starting to deform, and he can barely get his words out, but he tells the computer screen that that he thought he was alone on this ship. He thought he was safe in this nebula, but they found him, and that's all the words that you can understand from his pus-filled mouth and swollen tongue that he's able to get out onto the, and then that cuts out. Also on the manifest,
I am able to gain knowledge from other things in the environment behind him.
yeah, okay. Give me a roll for that though. Let's see. Perception is Gales, and I have a 2 Gales card which I'm going to use. So convince me how many dice you should have for that roll.
All right. So as an observer, maybe I can see something that's behind him, maybe the cause of the illness. As an etiologist, I can maybe see his body language. Maybe he's signaling at the cause, or maybe a cure for what's happening to him. It's maybe too late to get that into the system.
Okay. So give me a 2 Gales challenge. I'll give you another dice for that. So that's 4. And what's your alignment? You're not. Are you Gales? Oh, you are. So that would give you 5 dice. So 5 dice. Oh, sorry. I need to roll that for you. So that is no 1 and 2 strikes. So well, it's good that we get to do this because that. So you now. Oh, you can't get a strike in that. So normally I would cross off. I think that's how it works. Let me just have a quick look. I think I would have to. If you fail and rolled a strike, 1 strike is added to your sheet. Strike consequences do it. So yeah, I just get to choose. So I'm going to put that in your stones. So you now should see that appear on your screen as well, hopefully. So you now have a strike in your stones, and I decide the consequences. So while you are staring at the screen, you fail to notice the pirate that comes around the corner and takes a shot with his laser rifle at you. And that's, I guess we can say that's what causes the strike. It's a direct hit. And yes, I've put that in your stones. So stones are physical challenges. So that has hit you straight in the thigh and has slowed you down. You now have an injury to your right thigh.
Now I have a talent that's thermal resistant. Was this being intense heat of some sort? Because I'm resistant to that.
Yes, normally, but because you failed this roll and you were so distracted, it just unfortunately happens and maybe get through a chink or unlucky it found a weak spot and you're now injured in that particular area. So hence you're going to have 1 less dice in physical challenge. Now remember, you did win an enticement card. So you can heal strikes. You can use that to add an additional dice to a roll. You can reduce a challenge by the same suit. If I remember rightly, it was it Brooks challenge 3. So if you ever have a Brooks challenge, you can reduce that by 3. So if you wanted to heal that strike, you could cash that in, or save it for later. Okay, so the pirate's got off a shot, and he is accompanied by 3 others who come round the corner as well. So there are now 4 pirates. And has your mother gone?
She'll be back.
All right, cool. So yeah, you have 4 pirates, and they all have their rifles pointed at you, and they don't shoot. They actually talk to you, and one steps forwards and says, "I've got a message for you."
I'm listening.
just seen. I thought I could hear your mum coming back.
Not yet.
Pardon?
Not yet.
All right. It's from the Baron, and he's got an evil smile on his face, teeth missing, sharpened.
Of course it is.
And so the Baron. So the pirates have come round the corner, and rather than shooting at you, they've already shot Jonathan in the leg. They stop, guns pointed at you, and rather than shooting, the leader steps forward, teeth missing, sharp, horrible-looking pirate. Said, "I've got a message for you from the Baron."
We're listening.
He says, "We can kill you. Simple as that."
Your threats are as menacing as you are.
And he brings out a little device, and a screen pops up, and sure enough, there's the Baron, and it's a pre-recorded, but I hope this message finds you well. Meet my comrades. They do my dirty work around the solar system, and they have no interest in treasure. I know you four do, and I do not trust you as far as I can throw you, and there was no way ever you were bringing that treasure back for me. This is the greatest hoard of treasure in the history of humankind. I don't trust you for 1 second. These boys are going to return that to me. Goodbye. And it cuts out.
Can I challenge these pirates and make them believe?
How many are there?
Because I'm aesthetic, that I have no interest in money and sex or long periods of waiting, and loneliness don't bother me.
So you're trying to convince them of what?
That I had no interest in the money, that we were always going to bring the money back to the Baron.
Yep, I would, and okay, let's roll for it. I don't think this is going to work, but these are bloodthirsty. But
I've got talents that might convince them.
All right, so this will be let's have the dice do the storytelling then. So this is a Brooks challenge, which actually is your challenge card, isn't it? You could reduce this by 3. You are going to convince the hell out of these guys if you use that. But I'm going to throw in a 3 Brooks, because I don't think you can convince these pirates. So you're not aligned to this, are you? You have a striking stone, so that doesn't matter. Yeah, you're Gale, so that's not going to help. So you're on 3 cards, needing 3 Gales. Have you got? Can you convince me for any extra dice?
So I'm able to learn cultures quickly, and I'm able to grasp these pirates' customs and body language.
Okay, yeah. So like you did in the bar, your mannerisms have instantly begin to change, and your voice sounds a little bit like the pirates. Yep, okay.
I'm also a sanctioned government agent working for my system's government for the Baron, so that might be a convincing matter to be like, hey, you kill me, my government's going to come after you.
Yeah, okay. So I'll give you. So you're up to 5 dice. So yeah, you kind of, do you know who I am type, who I work for. The Baron would be furious if you've got the wrong message here type thing. You've got the wrong people perhaps, because they've just got a recorded message. They think they're showing it to the right people. Maybe you're trying to convince them otherwise. Okay, so 5 dice, and you need 3 Brooks. So are you happy with that? Are you going to use your enticement card?
Yeah, I want to use the enticement card.
Okay, so I think, because that was a 3 anyway, that would reduce that to 0, so I suspect that is perhaps an auto pass, but let me just reduce the challenge of the same suit by that amount. So unless it says somewhere in the rules that it always has to be a 1, so I'm just going to say that's an auto pass. I'll check the rules, I'll maybe put in an FAQ of what to do in that situation, because that's completely sent that to 0. So let's say that's completely passed. You have convinced these pirates, you look like one almost now, your body language is mimicking them perfectly, and yeah, you can see they're on the back step now. We're not you've got the wrong folks. We don't even know who this Baron is. Perhaps you say to them, that video means nothing to us. You got the wrong people, and you can see the pirates. So, what the hell are you doing here then?
Our ship got lost in this nebula and ended up crashing into the ship on accident, and we're trying to recover parts to repair our own ship to get off.
So normally these pirates would be ripping you to shreds now for the pleasure of it, but you're messing with their minds. They think they're almost one of them. They're building rapport with you already. They can't help it because of your amazing role, your abilities.
I also have a solar map to give them as payment to let us live.
Well, I'm not sure you really need to be honest. I think they're quite warming to you, which is strange for them because they would normally have ripped you from limb by now. But it's such a good role and use of your skills, you've convinced them that you're one of them almost, and that they've got the wrong people. So they explain to you, yes.
Maybe even I bring them into the church of the House of Cultivar. Now they become minions of.
Yeah, so their heads are spinning. You're spouting all sorts of stuff they don't understand, but they're like, you're emanating leadership. We're here to get the treasure for the Baron. And then once we're done, that's our mission over. We can, they offer to help you find the parts that you need, but the treasure leaves with them. They're taking that to the Baron. That's the deal.
Works.
Yeah.
All right.
But don't we want the money ourselves?
Of course we do, but we would like to be alive too.
I don't know. Part of me wants to start shooting them in the back of the heads. But I have
I was going to say, are you going to take the chance while they're leaving to...
Well, yeah.
So I think that now is a good time to play a card and do a plot twist here and see what direction we can take this game in, because we've reached the kind of point where I've prepared up to, and this is the perfect thing about Weave. I'm running out of ideas of where to take this now, so let's believe in the game and see where the game takes us. So I'm going to scan in a plot twist using one of the cards from my deck, and so I've drawn the gateway card, so let me just get rid of that now and see what options that gives me.
That's a gateway card.
So I draw 2 of the story cards, and which I'll get a new one now because I've just used one, and using the app on the phone it brings me up, and I've chosen that I want some plot twists, and it's given me 2 plot twists, so I get to choose one now to try and keep the story going and see what's out. So this is good for me as a games master because I've been preparing, but we've kind of got to the end of where I had prepared up to, so I'm now using the app and the cards to give me some inspiration. So, but just bear with me while I read the options.
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to use this one. So I'm going to adapt it slightly. So all of a sudden, there's the ship starts to shudder, and the ground shakes. You all fall over. The pirates stumble, and they fall over. Their guns go scattering, and you fall over, and the entire reality shifts. Everything gets stretched. The pirates seem miles away, and you look down at your arm, and that's just drifting off into the distance, just stretching out into infinity. And that happens to you. You know, PNL. You look at your metallic arm, and that stretches off into infinity, and you look down on the floor, and your legs are just and everything's shaking. You for the humanoid, your head feels like it's gonna explode. PNL, your AI intelligence just retreats into a safe area. You find yourself in the lobby of a hotel, while your casing is just battered by this resonating vibrations, and then suddenly everything snaps back. You come back out of the lobby, everything seems normal. The poor pirates at the other end of the corridor, they are splattered against the walls. Well, two of them are. Two of the others are embedded in the walls, screaming in agony. One's half hanging out, just his torso, his head, and one of his arms. The rest is trapped in the walls. The other one is just his fingertips and his nose and mouth are sticking out of the floor. Ah! He's trapped in the floor and soon gurgles to a horrible death. The other pirate in the walls, kill me! Kill me! What are you going to do?
But Raven and Jonathan are fine.
Yeah, you three have escaped. Over the tannoy, you hear emergency hyper jump completed.
Oh, interesting.
And if you don't mind, how about we stop the game there on that cliffhanger?
Sounds good.
Is that all right? Because we've been going a few hours now, and that'll give me some time to think about maybe where we take this journey next. But on that cliffhanger of what's just happened, where have you jumped to?
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun dun dun. How was so? Which remind me who's never played this game before? So all of you. So I'd love to know what you think of Weave. So what we've just created there, that story we've told, has been generated by 3 cards that I scanned with the loosest of plots and of what to do with that story. So with the help of you and your characters that you've created, we've just gone on I hope, a wild and wonderful and enjoyable journey through space that we've created together. I've really enjoyed it. I hope.
Yeah,
I'd love to.
Great.
It's really great. And the good thing about that too is Hagendan Dane doesn't have a clue where we are anymore.
Nope.
Yeah, and he probably thinks you're dead as well. Yeah.
And kill his minions.
Yeah.
So we just have to save Anne.
Yeah. Well, let's hope she's come along on the jump with you, and she's not embedded in a wall somewhere in agony.
I mean, there's a quick, peaceful death somewhere.
Well, thank you so much. I have no idea what time it is for you over there. It's
2:30 in the afternoon.
Oh, it's nearly 10:30 over here in the UK. So
your kids are in bed.
Yeah, and time for me to go to bed soon as well. But I've really enjoyed that. I hope we can do this again and keep this story going. So I'll maybe put something. Would this day and time be okay again another time?
Wednesday.
Not so much Wednesdays because
we can shift with my.
Can we? Okay. Yeah. Wednesdays work.
How about you, Jonathan?
Yeah. No, this is a good day and time.
Okay, so I'll see what I can do for another Wednesday soon, or a similar time of day, and get back to you.
So we can book it off.
Say again.
Just let us know a few days ahead so we can book it off.
Sure. Okay. Well, it's been a great pleasure meeting you and getting to know you and playing with you tonight. So thank you.
Pleasure.
All right.
All right. See you guys later.
Good night or good day.
Good day.
Next time.
Or in your case, good night.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.